Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Cambium Networks. Today's host is Bruce Collins. He is their Director of Product Management, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Bruce will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Thank you, Bruce, for being with us today. Greatly appreciate it. I am finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
All right, thanks, Julie, and thanks everybody for joining today. What I'd like to talk about in this session is Cambium's new platform, which is called cnVision. And the new platform is a purpose-built wireless backhaul solution, and we really focus it on video surveillance and CCTV applications. So I'm going to cover a little bit about the background on how we came about to launch this product, a little bit about the product itself, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So one of the things that as we looked at developing cnVision, we recognize that outside of internet access and service wireless service providers, one of the biggest applications for our products is for video surveillance and CCTV deployments. And you can see a number of examples around the world of Cambium products being used to provide the wireless transport for video surveillance. Everything from, you can see New York City and Chicago using this for their Office of Emergency Management and the police departments to manage not only disasters if they were to occur, but also for events and planning things like parades and other things like that. We also provide it for, you can see Manila, Poland. I don't see Budapest, Hungary on here, but that's another very large deployment. So as we realize that there's a large number of deployments using our radios for video, we said, well, what could we do to make this easier for those system integrators who are deploying these types of projects? And so we came up with cnVision, which is a purpose-built platform really focused on the application of video surveillance. So really the value proposition when you talk about using wireless to feed video cameras is quite straightforward. You don't have to trench cable, and whether it's copper or fiber, you don't have to trench that cable. And you know, one example I can give here is, you know, as talking to a car dealer actually here in the Chicago area. They have their facility where they sell the cars off the lot, but then they have a number of remote inventory parking lots that are, say, a mile away. But to really bring a cable to those locations is just about next to impossible. You'd be going through residential neighborhoods and everything. So being able to provide a wireless connection to those remote sites allows them to very quickly establish video surveillance on those remote lots. And as that inventory changes, they can move the cameras around. Pretty straightforward application. So that's being able to kind of move the cameras into remote areas, but also imagine just that parking lot and being able to move a camera out to the edge of the parking lot with wireless versus running a cable out to that location. So significant cost to be saved for whether you're an end user setting up your video cameras yourself, or what's much more common is to work with a video system integrator who comes to the project with a lot of expertise at deploying cameras, setting up video management systems to monitor and react to that video and events on that video, and being able to deploy these quickly and cost effectively. So what is cnVision? I want to make it clear, cnVision is not cameras. cnVision is the wireless transport that delivers the data from the back of the camera over to the video management system, whether that's in the cloud or whether that's in the headquarters of the enterprise that's using the video. Effectively, instead of using wires, you're going to use wireless to do that connectivity. So the way it works is we offer everything that you if you have experience with Cambium networks, it's everything you know and love about the Cambium reliability and performance of the radios themselves. The ability to do react to noise in the environment, react to adding additional cameras, adding additional links in the environment for scalability. Also, everything is secure over the air. So we use AES encryption protocols, secure management interfaces, and then really reliability and ease of use. And this is where we've kind of taken the basics of our radios and extended them specifically to video applications. So what we've done, and you'll see a couple of screenshots here, is we've taken the GUI or the graphical user interface of the radio. We've made it very focused on video applications. We've added what we call ONVIF client support, and I'll show you what that means in a moment. But effectively, in a nutshell, it means I can connect to any ONVIF compliant or conformant camera and automatically detect that in the radio, so I can see what I'm connected to. And then the VMS or video management system integration, I'll show you an example of that as well. We offer a 3-year warranty. That's also differentiated over some of the other solutions that are out there for video. And really the idea is we're offering this professional grade wireless transport at an affordable price. And that kind of shows you in this next slide how that fits in. So those of you that might be video system integrators or deploying video in other types of projects, you may be familiar with some of these other names on the slide, and I can kind of show you where cnVision fits in. We have, by building this purpose-built functionality into the product specifically for video applications, we can offer more performance, both the radio performance itself, but also the functionality and feature set, which is higher than some of those consumer grade radios out there that are basic Wi-Fi and not having done anything specific to video applications. But then if you also look at the higher end, which are people that you see up there in the upper right, Cambium networks can come in at a lower price point with cnVision, offer that 3-year warranty, offer that reliability and security, and then also offer the specific features for video surveillance. So that's kind of where we see cnVision fitting in, and the feedback and initial deployments have been very positive as far as how that's working out for different customers. So how's it different? As I mentioned, we offer the security, both the 128-bit and the 256-bit encryption. All the management interfaces are secure, and then of course the over-the-air protocol is secure. I'll talk, really the specific things I want to mention though is the CCTV integration. So that's a built-in ONVIF client. So when you connect a camera or a number of cameras into the layer 2 interface on the radio will automatically detect that a camera has been plugged in. It will present some information about that camera and even allow the administrator of the system to see that stream of information, see that stream of video right there on the radio GUI itself. So imagine an installer can see right away that he has good connectivity between the camera and the radio. Then when he goes and connects to the hub or the access point, he can see that video streaming all the way there. So he can really that installer can really start to slice up the network and troubleshoot and confirm that there's good connectivity throughout the end-to-end deployment. We also offer a cnVision deployment assistant or companion tool. This is still in early beta, but we expect to have this released. I'll show you an early example of it. But the idea here is that as a video system integrator, I can take an example deployment. I can put the cameras where I want them on, say, a Google Maps view, and then it will tell me exactly which particular radio I should select. And if I select that radio, how many cameras I can add and at what frame rate and at what resolution I can add. So I can kind of see as I'm building out a new design, I can see what kind of infrastructure I'm going to need. And then as I manage that network and say, it's time to add a couple more cameras, do I have the capacity in my current wireless infrastructure to add those additional cameras? So that's that deployment assistant companion tool. It's available. It's a client tool that you run on your laptop and can be used to design these systems. We offer products that are ruggedized, IP67. And then the other key differentiator I want to mention is this VMS integration. So what we've done, and it's probably easier to show you in a picture here in a moment, but to kind of set the context, what we've done is we've taken a number of the leading video management systems and we've integrated the products such that you can view the actual performance of the infrastructure. You can see how the wireless transport is working right alongside the camera view. And I can also see if there's any alerts or alarms that are going off in the infrastructure that might be impacting the video. So again, the video system integrators really value this ability to see in one view, one pane of glass, what's happening not only with my payload traffic of the video, but also what's happening with the transport that's being used to carry that video. So here's a couple screenshots of what the cnVision interface looks like. When you first log on to the radio, you'll immediately see how much data is being transmitted. As with most video surveillance applications, you'll see more traffic in the uplink direction than you will in the downlink. So you see traffic coming from the cameras towards the infrastructure. And that's what you see here. There's still not a lot of data on this, but 1.2 megabits. So you see very quickly the speedometer view of what's happening. Down below, you'll see a list of all of the cameras that have been identified underneath this layer 2 network. So in this case, I'm seeing a number of different manufacturers. You can see here a Hikvision, Axis, Avigilon, some QMV. We also do Mobotics, some other cameras. Effectively, if you're using cameras that have this ONVIF conformant stamp on them, of approval on them, they will automatically detect in the radio's interface. And what you see there is that list. On the left side, you'll see a little camera icon. If I click on that camera icon, it will actually bring up a live view of what that camera is seeing. So right from the radio's graphical user interface, I can see what's happening from the camera, and I can do that remotely, or if I'm connected locally there at the radio. So useful capability for the installer, but also for the system administrator as they try to understand if there's anything going wrong with the camera. They can kind of see what's happening from that perspective. By the way, if you're not familiar with ONVIF, it's an industry organization that really focuses on interoperability between video management systems and cameras, and as well as some other access control type solutions. So it's an industry organization, kind of an open standard type environment. Cambium is a member of ONVIF, and we do a lot of work with a lot of different camera manufacturers to make sure that this compatibility is here in the user interface. Here's an example of when I click on that camera view, what will pop up is a live stream image of what that camera is seeing. So in this case, this is actually a camera that's located here in our offices outside of Chicago, and you can see the actual stream of what's happening out in our parking lot. And then you can kind of see that as an installer, I can quickly verify that I'm getting a good feed to the radio and that my alignment and everything else is fine. So we also are adding some abilities to do things like ping the camera, reset the camera through that ONVIF software interface. So you'll be able to see exactly what's happening and do some additional troubleshooting techniques with those cameras as they're connected. The next piece I wanted to mention is the VMS, or Video Management System Integration. What I'm showing here is the Wave VMS from Hanwa. We also are working with Milestone and Genetec, and we've also started work with some of the other Avigilon and some of the other video management systems. We expect that list to grow. If you don't see your favorite VMS on here, then please let us know. You can always reach out to us at the Cambium Networks community, community.cambiumnetworks.com, and there's a support forum or community forum there that you can ask questions about the product, and always looking for ideas on how to do the integrations here. Anyway, what you see with that integration is a traditional sort of what we call Hollywood Squares view of the VMS. I have 8 different cameras views on the screen, but in the lower right, you'll see cnVision, and I can actually pull up that speedometer view. I can pull up the simplified view of what's happening with the network. I can also, from the VMS client, drill down into the specific cnVision interface and start to see what's happening. So if I see one of those cameras, the frame rate drops or goes dark altogether, I can start right away troubleshooting. Is it something with the infrastructure, or is it something with the camera? And then on the right-hand side, what you'll see is a list of events. So this is alarms and alerts coming from the cameras, but interweaved with that will be any alarms and events coming from the infrastructure. So if the camera or if the radio has an issue, it will report that issue back to the VMS. And again, you'll be able to see it all in one single pane of glass within the VMS environment. So both these things, the OnVIF client integration and the VMS integration, are unique to Cambium. We don't know anyone else out there that's doing that today. And we think there's a real differentiator for those system integrators as they install or deploy these systems. The other thing I mentioned was the companion tool. So here's an early look at that. Really two phases to it. There's a planning mode and a troubleshooting mode. The planning mode is the ability to drop in the locations of the cameras, drop in the location of the radios, and then start to look at what kind of capacity do I have available in that design and how much capacity do I need in that design. So I can determine if I should be running, say, in this example, 20 megahertz channels. Do I need to bump up to 40 megahertz channels? You can set the estimated noise floor that you expect to see in that environment. And then for example, if you're in a very congested urban area, or if I'm out in a very rural area, and it will, what it will really tell you is, do I have the wireless capacity needed to deliver the camera frame rate and resolution that I'm looking for? So if I'm trying to deliver 5 live MPEG-4 traffic, or if I'm trying to deliver 4K traffic, I can look at that. I can show what resolution, and it will tell me green, red, whether I have enough capacity. This is also important if I say, you know what, my client just called me up and said, I want to add another camera. You can quickly go into this companion tool, add that additional camera and say, yep, looks like there's enough capacity. I can go out here and do it with the existing infrastructure. Or do I need to tell that client that I may need to add some additional hub or client radios to deliver that video system that they're looking for? So again, this product, this cnVision Companion is under development. We expect to see that available to customers in the April timeframe. So watch the space for that, and if you're really interested, we can get you signed up for beta and early access to this tool, so you can give us some feedback as that gets developed. So that's kind of in a nutshell or overview of the functionality of cnVision. Here's what the actual products look like. There's 5 different pieces of hardware, what we call a hub or a client. And think of a hub as the wheel and spoke architecture. So I have a central point, which is the hub, and then I have clients that are distributed around that. We have 2 different hubs, a Hub Flex R, which you connect an external antenna to. That antenna can be a sector antenna or a horn antenna typically. And then we also offer a Hub 360, which is a omni antenna that provides full 360-degree coverage. Really, the Hub 360 we look at sort of 1 to 2 kilometers or maybe a mile or so. The Flex R, you can go much further than that by putting the appropriate antenna on there. So if you want to put a sector antenna on there, you have some height on that Flex R hub, you can go pretty long distances, say up to even 8 miles. Then we also have a series of client cnVision modules. We have the Micro, the Mini, and the Max R. You can kind of see that they're really positioned as short, medium, and long distance. If you're using those Micro and Mini, you can also just point those at each other and make a point-to-point link, and similarly with the Max R as well. The real difference in the Micro, Mini, and Max is really the size and the range. So you can see short, medium, and long distance. The other things to call out with the Max R is that it does offer IP67, so it's a higher ruggedization. So we really see the Max R as suitable for really if you're going to deploy municipality, if you're going to deploy on a construction site, any sort of heavy industrial application, you would typically use the Max R. Micro and Mini are much smaller form factors, and you can certainly use those in residential, small, medium enterprise type applications. Couple of deployment examples here. You can see some in the lower left, just point A to point B type application. So I can connect two micros, two minis, or two max Rs. If I just want to connect point A to point B and put a camera at point B. I can use hub and spoke architecture. You can see there in the upper right where I have a Hub Flex R. We're showing it with an RF Elements horn antenna and providing 60-degree coverage, and I can have multiple clients out there, typically as many as 64 clients, but most often in these applications, you're talking sort of 8 to 12 type of locations. And then in the lower right, you have a full 360-degree coverage with the Hub 360. So that is a real quick overview of the product itself. If you have questions, please ask them, and we'll cover those at the end. A little bit about Cambium. If you're not familiar, we have some training and some more further details about these products at our website. We have Cambium University, which you can take additional courses in basic wireless fundamentals or on, frankly, how to use wireless to solve your video surveillance needs. For the support side, we offer 24/7 support, a 3-year standard warranty. That's especially important if you're bidding a project to a school district or municipality. You can go in there and offer, with full peace of mind, a 3-year warranty. We can extend that out to 5 years as well with an optional warranty extension. But that's something that you can use as a tool to help differentiate the solution over a system integrator that might be using a different product or a different solution. And then we have, of course, if you can use our standard technical support, but then we also offer a full and active community forum, which is community.cambiumnetworks.com, that really allows you to interact with other users of the equipment. You can see how your peers are doing, what they might be finding good and bad on the product, and also, of course, give us feedback so that the development team can focus our efforts on making the product better and solve the problems that that are happening in the real world. For those of you on the listening that are system integrators, I wanted to have just kind of a special shout out here. If you are a system integrator, meaning that's a primary focus of your business is deploying video surveillance systems, we do have a specialty program within our Cambium Connected Partner. So in this cnVision System Integrator program, you would sign up and apply to become a cnVision System Integrator. You would still purchase products through Microcom and get the product that way. But by being a cnVision SI, you can promote that as a somebody who has passed the application process. You're an active deployer of video systems, and you've had experience now with cnVision. You also get access to directly to our engineering team. You can do some special peer-to-peer sharing where we have some local exclusive access within our forum just for cnVision system integrators. So if you're in that business, strongly recommend you apply. It's a very simple application, takes probably 5 minutes to fill out, and send it off to cnVision at cambiumnetworks.com, and we'll review that and get you on board using cnVision. So kind of summarize, cnVision, it's a purpose-built wireless transport for video systems. I won't repeat this slide, but you can kind of summarize. I think the key takeaway there is really if there's places that you'd like to put a camera that you can't today because you have to trench a fiber or a copper pair, or you just want to go farther than realistic by running a wire, cnVision is a great alternative to deploy those video surveillance networks. So Julie, that's about it from my side. If there's any questions, I'm going to hand it back to you and take us through the Q&A.
Bruce, thank you so much for that presentation. We loved it. It looks like I do have some questions for you. Let's get started with the first one. This question says, is cnVision exclusive to Cambium products?
Yes, it is. So cnVision is a combination of the software functionality that we described and then running on those particular hardware modules. So it is a Cambium product now.
Thank you, Bruce. Next question here for you. Is it a one-time payment for the license of cnVision? And if so, where can we find the quotation for it?
So the functionality that I showed there is all included in the price of the hardware modules. So if you buy a cnVision hub or a cnVision client, you will automatically get that feature set, the OnVIF client integration, the VMS integration. The one thing I would point out is that some of the VMS solutions out there do treat the cnVision interface as a separate stream. So if you're licensing your VMS based on the stream, you would add an additional stream to cover your cnVision VMS integration. But there's no additional software charge or ongoing software charge for cnVision.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Bruce. Next question here for you. Does one have the capability of renaming each device under cnVision?
So I think I understand the question. So there is a way to provide a name of the radio, so you can give it a human readable or friendly name for each of the devices on the transport side. Um, we also have in an upcoming release, you didn't see it in the screenshot here, but the ability to organize the cameras directly underneath the particular radio that they're connected to. So if you have a hub and spoke, you can show very quickly that it's going through this particular hub and this particular client. So you can see that hierarchy directly. Um, it's a really good idea. I don't think we have it on our radar, but it's a good idea to be able to give that that camera a friendly name or a descriptive name. It will pop up the name that the camera has been given, but there might be some value in having the cnVision administrator do that. So good idea, and I'll keep that in mind.
Excellent. Thank you, Bruce. Next question here for you. Let's see. How can the administrator log in to the cnVision remotely?
So there's each of the modules, whether it's a client or hub in cnVision, has a remote management access. So it's you connect using a web browser and a secure HTTPS interface to connect to that particular device. And once I pull up that interface in the in my web browser, then I can see that full OnVIF video stream and the interact with the radio itself. And then if you want to go in through the VMS, then you would either, some VMSs have their own client that you run on a server, and then some VMSs you would access through a web interface as well. So a couple different ways to get there, but in all cases it's secure and it's over that wireless network.
Thank you very much for that, Bruce. Next question here for you. Got a couple more. Thank you. Let's see. For any updates, would it be free within the 3-year warranty that you offer?
Yeah, so the firmware that runs on the radios, we try to do firmware releases. We generally try to do them about every 6 months. As a product is new, like cnVision, we may do releases a little more often than that. Those releases get pushed out over the air through that same interface I mentioned before, and those are available free of charge.
Excellent. Thank you. Last question here for you. For the 3-year warranty, does it cover full hardware fault replacements?
So I'll give you the general view. There's probably some fine print, but in general, we cover any failure of the hardware, assuming it was properly installed. We won't cover lightning hits as one kind of key environmental damage that might occur. We don't cover water damage or something like that. But generally, if anything fails on the radio, that's automatically replaced. So the unit would be replaced through the RMA process, through our technical support processes. So yes, absolutely. For the 3 years, the hardware is effectively just replaced if it fails.
Bruce, thank you very much for answering all those questions for us today. And also thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of these products mentioned or shown here today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so you can view it again. Bruce, thank you again for being with us today. We greatly appreciate all that information and your wonderful presentation. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks, Julie. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.